This is the second time we've tried a podcast intro.
Why'd you have to tell them that? We could have just started.
Look, we can just tell them.
I was going to put this in the wrong folder. And I didn't want to have to change the folders afterwards. So I was like, no, let's just do the podcast intro again.
Let's just do it again. Call the cops on it.
Well, welcome to what for us is our Wednesday edition of the podcast.
Yeah, so in the podcast today, we don't have the story about the lady stuck in the manhole. We might have to...
Well, we might save that for tomorrow.
We might do that tomorrow. In the podcast, what do we got? Cheap vacation home rentals. I continue to make what I think is a very reasonable plea.
A request.
And I continue to be given sideways glances as if I'm being ridiculous.
Or people are only offering you some options that you're not really looking for.
Sure.
But listen to what Obi's talking about possibly for that week leading up to the 4th of July.
Yeah, so we got that. We talk the Take Me Back hashtag. We also talk about the Blackout Tuesday hashtag and how that went. The Universal Studios news. Blowing up ATMs, bricking iPhones, shoe shopping.
Oh, yeah.
You know, how many times am I going to have to ask Nikki to where I'm just going to say, you know what?
Why do we want to go to shoe shopping? Why? You don't buy different shoes. You buy your one shoe. That's it.
I think at some point I'm just going to have to give up and just get used to the idea.
We've had this talk before, and I'm going to stick with the same answer.
I know, and it like
we're not shoe shopping. We're just going to go buy the one pair that you like.
And we're going to get your Crocs.
I'm not going shoe shopping.
Oh, my gosh, I swear.
I'm saving my money.
Like, if you would just get on board and do what I tell you, this would be so much easier.
This would just be so much better.
Speaking of saving our money, we talk about cheap parents in this podcast.
Some of those are really something.
Yeah, they are. And what I love is, I just love all the stories where, like, my parents had money, but they wouldn't buy me anything. I had some stories. I kept them to myself. Feel free to share yours. You can text them to us, 877-2-RADIO-U.
You can also find us on Facebook. That's at RadioU Riot. You really should take some time, go over, follow the page, like it, and then make sure you get notifications. So then that way on Friday, we're going to be doing our next Riot after show. We'll hang out on Facebook. So if you're a podcast listener, but you want to actually watch a little bit of the Riot to see what it's like, we're going to be playing Animal Crossing. We're setting that up for me for the very first time.
Oh, yes.
So that's on Friday on Facebook. So get ready for it there.
All right. Well, anything else?
Have a great day, everybody.
Let's go get some coffee.
Yeah. Woo! That's a good plan.
It's the Riot.
A Rotten Tomatoes score so high, they refuse to make it public. The Riot on Radio U.
A disappointing turn on social media for me yesterday as I think I'm going to take, I haven't talked to you about this, Nikki, but I think the week, like the 4th of July week, so like June 29th through July 3rd.
So like leading up to 4th of July?
Yeah, I think I'm going to take that week off. And I was like, well, I should go on a trip or a vacation. And I thought, you know what, instead of trying to plan something, you should work your connections. See if there are people that maybe, hey, like this is a good place, or I own a place, rent it from me, things like that. And so yesterday, I said, hey, like I'd be willing to pay as much as $5 a night for a solid rental.
You're going to really need a connection then.
And what was disappointing to me was that, the responses were...
Did no one take you up on that?
I mean, like, I'm going to use words like, I think tepid. It was just like the non-committal, a lot of offers for a lot of things that were like,
sometimes it's not the first posting that will bring you someone.
You got to go.
You got to go again, and you never know when an option might pop up. But you might increase your budget just a little bit, or don't put the price, and then just let that surprise you.
Just let it roll in.
I would think that might be better.
Because what you're saying is like, leave myself room to negotiate.
Exactly. That way they don't quite know what your budget is, just like I'm sure you don't really know what the budget is.
Yeah, I know, but I felt like $5 is generous in in certain areas of the world, certain respects.
I don't know if it's enough right now, but maybe you just have to really find a friend, and especially since that's what we call, like, what's the term? It's like peak season going into 4th of July.
Well, that came up because I was basically just trying to find a time where all of my overlapping responsibilities, like there would be a spot that would really work. And because I wasn't planning on taking any time off the summer, and I was just going to plow through. And then it was like, no, you really should while you've got the chance. And so It's like, oh, yeah. And it just so happens to be 4th of July weekend. No one will take that week off.
Good luck finding something.
There'll be plenty of things and plenty of places available. This is a great choice. I mean,
with a lot of options being at the $5 that you were looking to spend.
It's the, as Nikki says, off peak. That's not.
You need to look the week after 4th of July.
Yeah, but that's not. It's fine.
Well, then I don't know what we can do. We'll keep looking.
It's fine. I feel great about it. So everybody keep feeling great. Right?
If anyone sees anything.
And remember
for $5.
Remember the budget. I could be willing to go as high as 6 to 7.
Don't tell them that yet.
Okay, yeah, I'm ruining it. I got nowhere to go now.
Worst of the riot. Radio U.
So, Nikki, what are your, like, in the 3 minutes that we had, what did you find in my price range? Anything?
I didn't know. I was talking to Jerome. I didn't actually look. I'm sorry. That was my bad. I didn't know I was supposed to be looking.
Well, my thought was, like, if I came in here and talked to you about it, you would immediately have the connections I needed to enable,
Let me see what I can do. And again, only $5 is what we're looking to spend.
I told you I could go as high as 7.
Are you feeling you want to be outdoors, like in a tent, maybe, perhaps, or a cabin?
I'll tell you right now, if I could find weather like we had a couple of days ago in my neighborhood, I would
Camping would have been good.
Honestly camp. And I'd just be like, yeah, let's do it. But it's not going to be like that.
It'll be like 100.
I'll be camping and they'll be like, the good news is it will only be in the 90s overnight.
You're just praying for a breeze. You're like, please.
You know what?
If you've never been camping, camping's one thing. But if you're camping when it's hot out, it's just something.
It's miserable. It is. And I mean, I have done that and I have tried to be like cool about it. Like, no, I don't mind the squelchingly hot temperatures. And I don't mind the fact that when I get in the tent, it's somehow hotter in the tent than it is out here because I didn't know it could be hotter than this.
I would hate for you to go out on a camping thing and then have to sit here and hear the weather reports of them saying it's like it's unseasonably hot for even July.
Unseasonably hot.
I just don't feel comfortable doing that.
I'm with you, Nikki.
I'd be worried.
I'm with you.
Wow. Not only are you already awake, but you're listening to The Riot? Your day is off to a pretty rough start. The Riot on Radio U.
You know what? Companies are doing that. They're using up their stuff. I was looking here at Sega just announced that they're selling a tiny little Game Gear. If you're like me, you don't even know what that is.
So is Sega... They're not around, but everybody always says they might come around.
They have, back in the day, they used to make hardware, so like game consoles, but now they just make games. So basically, they're the people that keep making Sonic the Hedgehog over and over again.
Oh, and they got some money from Sonic when it did pretty good in movie theaters.
It would seem that way.
So they want to do something else.
Nikki,
I forgot about that.
How about for $50, I sell you a tiny, tiny, tiny little thing. It's a Game Gear. It's like a portable game thing, but it's
a micro one.
Yeah, I'm talking like a 1 or 2 inch screen.
It fits in the
palm of your hand.
The palm of your hand. It fits right there. It's for their 60th anniversary.
And you could play, if you get the black one, you could play Sonic the Hedgehog on it.
I don't know if my eyesight is good enough. I don't know.
That's fine. You know what?
I'm not sure.
Do you remember I had a Game Boy Micro? That was a Game Boy Advance, but it was micro, and it took Game Boy Advance cartridges.
Mm-hmm.
And after a while...
This seems smaller. Is this smaller?
I think it's about the same size.
This looks like a keychain thing that you would have.
That was one of the ways they sold the micro. It was like, oh, yeah, you put it on your keys, and you can play Game Boy anytime you want. And so I took it a couple places. I remember distinctly standing in line in Walmart playing Zelda on this thing and thinking, what am I doing?
Now you can have that feeling again.
You can have it again, but this time as Sonic the Hedgehog.
Is that a Street Fighter one or?
Well, they've got a list of, you only get, each one comes with like 3 games. So you've got, one of them is Sonic the Hedgehog. And here, let's see if you remember these hits. Puyo Puyo 2, Outrun, Royal Stone, no idea. Blue, Sonic Chaos, Gunstar Heroes. Nobody's
I don't know any of these.
Yeah. I don't see anything on here about Street Fighter.
So it looks like it, but it's not. I was wrong. It's going to launch October 6th in Japan for about $45. Perhaps these games did better there. Maybe they have a little bit more history there.
I'm sure they did.
So it's a Sega Micro.
Do you feel the need?
No, I don't. None of the games are familiar.
You know what, for me,
Nintendo did one. It was a little small one, maybe.
I hate to be this guy, but my phone's good enough.
Yeah, well, no, your phone's actually way better.
It's way better.
It's way better than this.
If I would rather spend $50 on like a controller and like a phone mount so that you just slide your phone in and play that way. I've looked at that. I don't want to enough to pay for it, but
Well, it is tiny, so it's a Sega Game Gear, but a micro one. And it doesn't, the games or it's the, whatever goes to the color is there. So it's not like you'll get one and think, oh, I wonder what 3 or 4 games will be on there. It is what it is. They're all set for it.
You know what? This will be perfect for my study hall.
No, this is perfect for your vacation.
If I keep it tucked under the table, then they won't be able to see me playing it. And I can just tell them that I was praying.
Well, that or you could...
sleeping.
No, this way you use as a decoy because you'll just be on your phone. So you'll let them take this.
And then you can get to your phone.
You'll be fine on your phone. They won't come back to you.
That works.
So that's, again, it looks like only in Japan for $45.
You're listening to the worst of the riot. Radio U.
I'm looking at right now on Instagram, the hashtag Take Me Back of people saying like, hey, what is it that you miss? Where do you wish that you could go?
It's basically been a trending hashtag during the end of the COVID stay-at-home stuff of like, where do you wish you could be able to go back to and have a vacation?
I'll give you the top 5. Number 5, the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Nikki, have you found yourself really missing
I've never
the Eiffel
been there
Tower?
in the first place, so this isn't the right one for me to start off with.
That's not yours. So
no. That's a no. What else? So maybe we can connect with something on this list.
Number 4, the Magic Kingdom in Florida.
Yeah, I went at Christmas time.
So,
missing it.
There. I've missed it a lot.
And my bank missed because you can't go back for a while.
Santorini in Greece.
No, never been there. Is this a practical list?
It's just all the places that hashtag Take Me Back, they miss it.
This is actually coming from a lot of travelers who do that for a living.
Exposure.
$5
a night.
So we might not.
Hashtag Take Me Back.
We might not be able to connect with all these places.
So, Bali in Indonesia?
Nope, not there. That would be lovely, though, but no.
Okay, and the number 1, the big one.
Yeah.
Hashtag Take Me Back, the place that people wish they could return to as they're under the stuck at home, blah, 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 whatever. The Giza Pyramid Complex in Egypt.
Really? That's it?
That's number 1.
Not like the beach or something?
No.
No, nothing?
No.
Yeah, I never took these type of vacations.
I wonder if I went to Mount Rushmore a few years ago. I was on the way somewhere, so I stopped at Mount Rushmore, which, by the way, you really have to go out of your way to go. But it was like on the way out of the way, not out of the way out of the way.
You were close enough you would have felt bad if you didn't stop.
When I got there, there was just this moment of, this is it? This is the thing?
Well, now tell me, because sometimes when you go to travel to a specific place, you've seen it a lot. Is it more impressive than like when we see it in a picture, or is it less impressive?
Like the official viewing platform of Mount Rushmore, and standing there was
That's the type of place your parents take you before you leave the house.
That's because your parents they're just desperate to find something to do with you.
To connect with you, and they want to just make sure you see all this stuff because you never will once you start going to school.
So I say this about Mount Rushmore because I wonder if the pyramids are the same way. When you get there, you're just like, oh.
Yeah, but that's a big trip to get there.
All of that. So was getting to Mount Rushmore, okay?
I don't think it was that involved.
You don't know. I'm just saying that once you get there, does it have the same effect of like, look.
Maybe the riot would sound better if they spent less time improving their lives at their gym. That was sarcasm. It's the riot on Radio U.
Universal Studios Hollywood is asking LA County to allow theme parks to reopen. When did they do that? Yesterday.
When you start talking about vacations?
When did I start talking about an inexpensive but luxurious $5 a night stay? Yesterday.
It's
Coincidence?
perfect.
I think not.
So that would involve, travel a little bit more than I thought you were wanting to do.
Yeah. Well, for the right price in the right place, I feel like I could bring my numbers with me there to the fine people at Universal Studios Hollywood, and so everybody wins.
I know Disney is opening. Is it maybe July 11th? That could just be the wrong number, but it's in July.
I hear that, yes.
So is that the Orlando one only, or is it also the California one?
No, I think that's...
or both
as I recall, when we talked about it, now it could have been updated by then, but it was Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom were going to reopen. Mm-hmm. So not all the Disney parks, just those two, and under some limitations in early July.
Okay.
And that's in Orlando.
So I wonder what California will be doing then to allow theme parks to start opening up, and how will that look like?
I don't know, but she says it's the person from Universal, Karen Irwin. She wants to reopen mid-June to early July, and says that it's a misperception that theme parks should be among the last facilities to open. So you've got a big misperception, everybody. It's time to get out there and perceive differently.
All right, I'll let them work that out, and then they can tell us.
Yeah! You were one of the lucky few who missed the riot when they were live. Yet here you are.
I also like to live dangerously.
This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
One of the dumbest stories emerging today is a man that died overnight. And you're like, no, this is dumb. He in North Philadelphia, he wanted to rob an ATM. So he got some explosives together.
Oh, no.
Blew
and he
himself
died?
up.
Oh, really?
Trying to break into an ATM.
To the ATM?
Yeah.
Aw.
So that didn't work out.
It does not work out.
Yeah.
Aw.
I would be afraid. No. Too afraid. For good reason.
If you want to steal an ATM, you got to put a chain around it and take it off site and work on it.
Right, just because you put a chain on it and then you back your truck up and you attach the train, and you drag it away, and then they'll never find you.
Well, they won't surely follow the drag marks.
They'll never find you.
No, I think they lift it up also into a truck, just based on TV shows and movies that I've seen.
I feel like an ATM is one of the dumbest things to rob.
Why? How much cash does it have in it?
That's what I'd like to know.
It's got to have enough to try.
So what do you think? The number that keeps coming to mind, and I'm not saying that I know.
Let's say it at the same time.
But okay, 6,000.
I wasn't ready. I thought we were going to count to it.
It wasn't.
We were supposed to count down. I was taking a breath.
All right, well, what were you going to say?
10,000.
I was going to say 6,000.
I bet you it's more than that.
You think?
Yeah, people bank more than we do. We don't work in cash.
Boy, we don't.
So we don't know.
I made a deposit the other day. It was like $20. I was terrified with all the cash I was carrying.
We just don't do it.
I have $20. They're probably going to get me.
Well, no, that's just not how everybody rolls nowadays.
Guess not. Right. So I don't know how much you keep in an ATM, but it just seems like it wouldn't be
enough for the effort and the possible risks.
Yeah. I continue to think that you and I are smart enough that if we would go into, I'm going to call it mild crime, right? Like not heavy crime.
I don't want to do hurtful crime.
Well, me either. But Nikki, it's all just out there. This money, it's out there.
No, it's not. It's actually contained. It's not just out there.
No, okay. But the thing is, we find something that's insured by the FDIC. Then it's just the government's money, and what do we care?
We can just still enjoy
the government's money is my money.
It's not the case.
Where do they get their money? They take mine.
No, but you're not able to just take it back like that, even in an unofficial way.
Okay. Well, if you want to be like that.
I could see us trying.
Nikki, spokesperson for the man.
No, oh, that's nice.
There it is.
That's nice.
There it is. You can't just take the government's money.
Because I don't want to steal the money. Is that it?
I'm just calling it a down payment on my next stimulus check.
I could see you and I trying to, in my mind, this is what I see. We're trying to steal the ATM.
Okay.
And I see us having a breakdown in communication, and we're fighting.
I see that.
I could see it not happening. And by the time we could get the thing out, if we could, we'd be arrested. good.
See, I don't completely agree with you because while in this room, you and I, maybe are contentious, I feel like in the moment, you and I would actually just fall into a rhythm.
It's like this is what we have to do.
Let's go.
No.
And then they would be like, we've never seen this kind of efficiency before.
How in sync they are.
It's like they've worked together for years.
It's those people. It's those two. They would know it. It's a no-go. I don't think we should try this.
So it's a cautionary tale. A guy died.
That's too bad.
He didn't die at the scene. He died later, but he actually tried
to blow it up?
He tried to use explosives to blow open an ATM, and that didn't work out.
We would give the Riot flowers to show our appreciation, but Obadiah's probably allergic. What isn't he allergic to? This is the Riot on Radio U.
Here's something that we have to get a hold of. Not everybody's going to like us. Not everybody's going to like the things that we like.
Oh, yeah.
So, you put a tweet out there about a 4K restoration. You care about it.
And no one else likes it, though.
And you have to go all the way to, northern Canada to find another person that shares your interest. Or in my case, maybe the southern tip of Australia. But whatever, it's fine.
It's fine.
Here's what I want you to know, though. Just because maybe not everybody likes you, it doesn't mean you're not likable. They probably just don't see it. And this is the beautiful thing. And it's this half kidding thing, but I'm also totally serious. Do you know that the one golden point, the golden ticket, the main thing that really counts here is that God loves you. He knows that you're a work of art. He put you together. He knows that you're great. What I love, too, and I heard somebody say this the other day, it's not just that Jesus loves you, it's that Jesus likes you. It's funny, but love feels generic. Like your parents are like, tough love, I love you, but clean the house or, whatever.
Or they kind of have to love you.
Yeah, it feels obligatory. God loves you, but he likes you. He actually likes you. And so when I talk about having a relationship with Jesus, we all often, I think, see it as a very formal, very this, that. No, I'm talking about a friend that likes you and gets a kick out of you and the things that you do. You are unique and awesome. And you know what? Not everybody's going to appreciate it. Not everybody appreciates me, and that's a bummer, but it's okay. It's okay. And what I found is that the more I understand that God does love me, I kind of find some satisfaction. Well, I can take kind of. I find satisfaction there. So it's not as big of a deal that other people are, not exactly feeling me or the things I'm feeling. So look, a relationship with God, you can start it. Just say, Jesus, I want that. I want to know what it's like to be loved and liked. I want you to come into my life, fill me with your spirit. I want to see what life is like on your terms. Seriously, just talk to God about what's going on today and know that you are liked and loved. That's amazing all by itself.
It was bad enough the first time around, but now it's worse. Don't believe us? Just keep listening. You'll find out soon enough. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
You're going to start seeing a lot of Apple products popping up online for sale because recently there were some clearance events that were held at a few different Apple stores.
Now, some say clearance event, others say looting.
Could have been.
Could have been.
Could have been.
Oh, everywhere you see just people run. Did you see the guy who ran out? He stole a Big Mac, like a desktop one.
Oh, okay.
And he got a giant one, and he was walking down the street, and then so he looted Apple, and then people stole it from him when he was walking down the road.
That's a bummer.
So the steal, he got stolen, and he was
like, man, I can't even steal things
I know,
right.
He got stolen from.
That's a bummer.
So you could just tell him he's trying to hold on to it for dear life, and it wasn't going to work. There was too many people around him.
Oh, man.
There was no way to hide it.
Well, one of the things that Apple's coming out and saying now is like, yeah, listen, just want you to know that we have the MEI, or is it IMEI, basically the distinct device codes, like serial numbers, essentially. That's not what they are, but kind of. So we can disable those.
They
so
have
that you
for
can't use those iPhones.
Looting aside, I thought they've done that for their store display ones or the ones that are in store because of people just trying to run out with them.
I'm sure that's
in
true.
the past. So, like, they know what's out there.
When I worked retail, that was actually one of our biggest loss leaders is like the grab and run.
Mm-hmm.
Like, whatever it is that you would have on display up front, someone would just grab it and run away. I mean, there was other things happening, but that was kind of a big one.
So, yeah, demo devices that were stolen say, local authorities will be alerted. The device has been disabled and is being tracked.
Here's what I've noticed is that when it's Apple's device that's stolen, they're able to track it, notify the police, really help themselves out. But when your phone gets stolen, there's nothing they can do.
Help you.
Can't help you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, boy. That's just a shame, isn't it?
We feel your pain, and we know that you loved your phone, and we have many more phones available for purchase. But we're not going to be able to, get you a phone.
Yeah, I'm just looking. They say they won't be able to use or pawn the demo items because they have that software, which prevents the devices from being restored to their factory settings.
So is it just the demo ones?
No, it seems like it's just the demo stuff. But if you got in the back and stole something else, you'd still probably be okay. But the rest, they're no good. They won't work.
Okay, so then when you're buying your stolen iPhone, make sure you ask them if it's a demo unit.
Yeah, because you won't be able to use it at all. And this one they're mostly talking about is one that came out of Philadelphia.
Yeah, but I mean, it's happening all over.
So they're activation locked on iCloud. I think that also works for their other things. So if you got a laptop or a monitor or a phone or watches from the display tables, they won't do you any good.
Yeah. Well, you know what? It's tough, but I'll just be aware when you're out there. If you find a deal that seems too good to be true,
it's not going to work.
The Riot is well versed on many different topics.
They're shy at first, but they're quite skilled at conversation.
This is The Riot on Radio U.
Probably one of the single largest impacts that COVID-19 has had on the Riot is that you still don't have your Crocs.
Going back to, when did we start talking about that? Was it February?
I don't know.
Beginning of March?
But it was pre-COVID, and COVID shut down your Crocs search.
Way back then, I had been fascinating because it just came off of like some big deal where, was it Peeps or something? They had these Crocs,
the little things that you put in the shoe.
Yeah,
I don't know what they're called.
I think it starts with a Z or the gibbets or something like that. But back then I was like, man, why do these things? Why are they still around? Why do people love these so much? And I never worn Crocs, so I told Obi that I wanted to try a pair on just to see like why do people still love these things? And then that has led into I want Crocs. I want a bazillion pairs of them, all this stuff. And that's not, I just wanted to try them on to see what they feel like. Mm-hmm. And I never did because then our stores closed down here and I don't want to pay for them. I just wanted to try it on.
Okay. Well, here's what I find myself thinking, that I am getting to a point where I'm going to have to buy some new shoes.
You are?
I have had the shoes I am wearing now. It might be 3 years.
Really?
I mean, like, seriously,
look still fine.
Look at them.
They look great.
I mean, do you really think so?
Well,
don't they just look like shoes? They don't look new.
You wouldn't know, except they look a little
then when
wavy
you turn
in the
them
front.
over,
Yeah.
What do you mean by wavy?
Well,
this?
that sort of stuff.
No, but that's what comfort looks like. That's how you know
where your toes are. It just looks, set for you.
It's so comfortable. Like, yeah, you couldn't. Someone with the same size foot as me couldn't wear this shoe.
No, it is. It
has
totally molded to your feet.
But see, what's happening is, do you see this part right here?
When you push in,
it bounces.
It's hollow. Where did everything go?
It's gone. Like
the padding, the comfort.
Yeah. And so I'm going to.
Wow, you need a new pair.
I'm going to have to buy some new shoes.
Yes, you do.
Like, I have to. Look, all the little holes. Like, I've
on
worn
the
them
bottom
down.
are gone.
It's fine. Aww. There's no traction. But they're so comfortable.
Well, yeah, because you have broken them in. They're broken.
They're just broken.
They're just absolutely broken.
But here's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
You and I, we could go shoe shopping together.
Uh-huh.
Wouldn't that be wonderful?
Yeah.
You could get some Crocs, and I could get whatever the heck Adidas is passing off as shoes
you
these days.
You always buy the same pair, though. You're not going to go shopping. You're going to buy those.
No, they quit making them. I keep buying these shoes, and they're like, yeah, they're not this anymore. They're this. So, like, I had a pair of Pumas I loved, and I replaced them every year with the same pair. And then they just quit making that shoe. So
you're going to find something new? Or
this is an Adidas Hamburg.
That's the name of the shoe?
It is.
And they still make those, though, right?
It's an 11 in U.S. sizes.
Yeah, we can find this for you online. We don't need to go shoe shopping.
You know what? It does look kind of rough. Like if you're looking in here,
listen,
the more you look at
it, the closer you look at it.
It's normally on my feet, and I'm kind of nearsighted, so I don't really pay attention.
I just want you to know you need a new pair. You do.
It just feels like I'm just throwing money away, you know?
You're not.
Wouldn't I be better off buying a movie I'm not going to watch and putting it on a shelf somewhere than buying shoes I'll wear every day?
Why don't you start wearing your 4K and your Blu-rays?
Okay.
Strap them to your feet.
Just put them on my feet.
Put them in the shoe.
Sure.
And that'll be like the padding.
All right, but I think you and I, on a little trip, you get some Crocs, and we could tell everybody about the great time we had shoe shopping together.
I just don't think it'll work.
You never want to do what I want to do. You're like, let's play video games.
This is the thing. This is it. What do you think we're doing?
Let's play video games.
What do you think we're doing?
Let's play Animal Crossing this weekend. And I'm like, let's go shoe shopping. It's ridiculous.
I don't want to go shoe shopping with you. You know what you already want. We're not doing any shopping then.
You said?
You're just going to buy the same shoe.
With you.
Listen, I don't want them to hear us whine. I don't want them to hear this.
You don't want to hear it. Nikki doesn't want the truth to get out, guys. It's fine. You know what? It's okay. It's okay.
Everything you love about the Riot, plus a handy-dandy fast-forward option. This is the Worst of the Riot podcast.
Man, I had a pair of running shoes that, like, I had all these problems with my feet, and it 100% came from the shoes I bought.
They always say it's your shoes, or what is the other thing you're supposed to put money in?
Jared's
your
grandma
mattress.
says to put money in your shoes and your mattress.
What you stand on all day and what you sleep on all night, you should actually put some money into.
That's exactly right. So while we are shopping for shoes online alone in the same room because Nikki doesn't want to shoe shop together, I'm looking here at Nike's new Space Hippie shoes.
Yeah, do you see it?
What is this?
Well, it's kind of like their sustainable line for trying to reuse. I think it's from parts from other shoes that are made.
You know, the irony of a company that creates shoes that people don't wear but keep in boxes.
And then
and they're like, this is a sustainable, reusable item.
Yeah, they look interesting, but it's their new line with it.
So what do you think? It
is not a look that I would go for, and I can't tell if this is the type where, they would be, what's the stocking term?
Dead stocking?
I don't know if these would be dead stocked, meaning like they sit on a shelf and you don't wear them, or are these supposed to be worn? I can't tell.
So here, this is a quote from the inventory article. They say, all of the shoes in the line feature the same stripped down minimalism and make for stark, eye-catching silhouettes.
Mm-hmm. They say that, so like if you have a pair of Air Maxes or LeBrons, any type of Nike shoe, it always has waste left over when they make it. Spare trims of fabric, unused rubber, and plastic. So the scrap material in the past from all the other Nike shoes are now put into the Space Hippie line. So that waste is used to make these sneakers.
Yep.
So that'll be in stores on the 11th.
They're the chicken fingers of shoes, or the chicken McNuggets of shoes.
It'll be about $130 to $170 per pair.
Think about that. Nike has found a way to take their trash from their industrial shoe process, sell you the trash of their industrial shoe process, package it in an environmentally friendly narrative, and then charge you top dollar for those items.
Yeah.
That's spectacular business modeling, and I don't want those shoes.
So the upper parts are very minimal. They're used of material that they call space waste yarn, and it's like their fly knit material for their other shoes.
Yes.
No added dye, no other coloring, so you get a very limited amount of what it is.
Yeah.
And that's what people are looking forward to.
All right. Well, the Nike Space Hippie. Is it out yet?
11th.
The 11th of June.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now we have 8 days. Look forward to that.
There you go. If you want to spend, 130 to 170, depending on which one you want.
All right. In the meantime, Nikki and I need shoes. We both do. Nikki, you need some Crocs.
In case you're wondering, yes, we do get complaints.
They have gone too far. This time, they are going to be held accountable.
You're listening to The Riot on Radio U.
Nikki, it's no longer a day. They say it's now a week. Krispy Kreme is behind National Donut Week.
So Donut Day is on Friday.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's like just a Krispy Kreme thing or if other donut places will.
Remember, I remember us looking, and there's like Donut Day, DONUT, and then there's Donut Day, DOUGHNUT.
There's different ones.
Yeah, so I mean...
But for Krispy Kreme on Friday, normally is the day they would be celebrating, but they're doing it all week now.
That's right, Nikki. And you can go to Krispy Kreme, and they say, no questions asked, no strings attached, free donut every day.
Every day?
You can just drive through and just be like, hey, I'll take blank and whatever kind of donut you want. It's free.
Any limit, though? Is it one per day, or they're just not going to ask at all?
I don't know that they're going to ask. So I mean, just keep... Well, you know what? Here's what you do. You roll through, you get your free donut, then you add 8 hours to the clock. Assuming that whoever gives you your donut is going to be off work then.
Is there anybody who knows the shift schedule
That's
on a
what you
Krispy
need.
Kreme and then can tell us, like, when will there be a change in people?
Actually, that's a great way of looking at it. If Krispy Kreme opens at, let's say they open at 6 a.m. I don't know, but let's say they do. You can get in there sometime between like 9 a.m. and noon and be back there as early as I would say somewhere between 2 and 3.
2 donuts a day if you make it work right.
Yeah, if you do it the right way.
And if you have a group of friends, you just change out who's driving. Will they give everybody in the car one? Like,
you know
I
what?
don't know.
Now I have
questions. I just want to know what to
pushy now.
expect.
You
How
can't
am
just
I getting pushy?
because you're turning it into like, hey, we have a free donut. Like, yeah, can everyone have a free donut?
We're all
guess.
each a person, and we're all in the car.
Let me encourage you then to go inside.
You could do that too.
That way,
They didn't say that though.
they didn't say that, but I hate the idea of like when you're the driver and everybody's like, well, get my free one, get my free one.
I know, it could be hard.
Then you have to explain, okay, I shouldn't have to pay for any of these 4 donuts because there are 4 of us in the car and each one's for each individual. And could you bag them individually for me?
And then it kind of sounds like you're lying. You're like, here, like everybody's in there.
I have a 15-passenger van right now, so I'm going to need 15 free
donuts. Thank you.
Yeah, just
they're
put
all
them in
hiding.
a box. No, they're under the seats, I promise.
So Donut Day's on Friday, but Krispy Kreme's doing this whole week.
That looks delicious.
Doesn't it? That would actually really work right now.
I'll take a donut.
And you can have one.
On Friday.
No, you can have it any day this week.
I know, but I think we should wait till Friday. Because the idea of, hey, just get a donut, I can't live in that world.
What about after the show, you got... Oh, we're in a new month. Is Wendy still doing that free chicken sandwich thing?
I don't know.
You could buy a soda, get that.
Free chicken sandwich, then get a free donut.
And then go over and get a donut. Like, that's your lunch.
It's perfect. I love this plan.
It actually is perfect.
The Riot has now been downloaded. I hope you installed some antivirus. This is the worst of the Riot podcast.
This story blows my mind. There's a YouTube channel that Nikki pointed me to yesterday called B is for Build. And they do car builds. It's fascinating.
Seems like it's like a really fun channel. Like, even if you're not too much into cars, he just has a passion for them and builds these custom cars that he makes.
It is funny how, I mean, this is just the way entertainment works. Sometimes if you get the right personality, you'll watch them do almost anything. And this guy seemed like somebody that I would be willing to sit down and watch. Well, he and his crew, they're on their YouTube channel, they were basically trying to recreate Eleanor.
Well, here's the thing. He was making the Mustang that he had created like a custom version of it. So you've got this old style car that I guess he had added like backup cameras, like all this sort of modern stuff to it.
Sure.
Then he came down to what did he want this one to look like? And he decided he wanted to fashion it after Eleanor from Gone in 60 Seconds, which was the Mustang from that car.
Yeah, it was like a 60-something Shelby Mustang.
So he wouldn't have gotten in trouble if if it was just his whatever he created in the beginning. But once he decided on the design and the coloring and all that stuff, that's when the problems happened.
That car, name, design, color scheme, like whatever.
From this old Nicolas Cage movie.
Is owned by the Walt Disney Company. And we don't know exactly what happened other than to say that legal action was taken. They took the car and he had to delete all of the content on his YouTube channel
had to take
that
it all
had
down.
to do with that.
All the whole build, even the stuff before the design.
Right.
He had to take it all down.
Crazy.
So basically, you know how like something can be copyrighted? So the Eleanor car from the movie is actually a copy. It's a character. It's not a car. It's a character. And that's where if you want to have a car that's designed and looks like it, you have to pay them money for the copyright claim for it. And I saw someone else make one. You get a sticker that stays on the car showing it's an Eleanor registry. And if you pay the money for that, then you can have it. But he didn't know about it.
Roll my eyes.
I know it's a bit much. You could tell he was really devastated. Like he posted a video about it.
I mean, I get it that companies have to protect their IP. Like I honestly get that because you can't just have people ripping off, whatever something is. Like I get that, but then there's this other side of like,
he didn't know.
Like it's a
just,
car and
it was just a project.
Who even likes Gone in 60 Seconds? Like, what are you telling me that the Walt Disney Company is pulling down big bucks based on their Eleanor trademark from Gone in 60 Seconds? Maybe.
Well, I was curious.
Perhaps my ignorance is showing in making a statement like that. I
was curious, how much does it cost to have the rights to be able to make the car like it?
Right.
It must be a lot of money. But they either didn't give him the option and they just took the car and made him take the stuff down, or he just didn't have enough money to pay for the registry for it, but the car's gone.
That feels like a settlement to me, where it was like, hey, we're going to do blank, 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 and blank, or you have to hand all this stuff over, and he just opted for the settlement.
Did you see the text message? Does that mean that Eleanor is a Disney princess? That's a great one. That's a fantastic one.
JC, that is the single greatest response. That is the single greatest response. Mm-hmm. He knows what it is. It's a 69 Shelby GT 500.
Oh, yeah. So it's sad, though. The guy's devastated.
Bummer. So, yeah. Thanks, Disney. You're the best.
Or maybe not.
Eleanor's a Disney princess. We can see her at Disney World. I like that.
The Riot RadioU.
Now, Nikki, I got a look at some of the stuff. Nikki actually gathered a couple articles and sent me yesterday. One of the ones that I'm looking at right now is about Blackout Tuesday that happened yesterday and how it was the Blackout Tuesday backfire that didn't work out.
Not everybody realized. It was kind of more started yesterday or going into yesterday for the music industry for creating a pause on social media post for bands, their labels, kind of that side of stuff.
Yes.
But then it seemed to morph into something that everybody participated in, or a lot of people did yesterday. But they were saying that really wasn't as helpful as the everyday person might have thought that posting would be.
Well, it basically came to this. The idea behind the blackout was, okay, I'm going to be quiet on social media. I'm not going to post
those sides
anything.
Of things. Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to post anything. And the idea was that by not posting anything, the voices that should be heard will be heard. Now, who determines who those voices are? I don't know. You tell me.
They were saying a lot of the activism side of social media would then rise up because you wouldn't have so much clutter from everything else. Well, the problem is everyone else posted yesterday for the blackout. So instead of the activism side rising up, they found that everything was just full of blackout screenshots.
Everybody wanting to show support. And then there's an argument about whether it was showing support or if people were
just
actively trying to prevent it or if it was virtue signaling. I mean, this may shock you, but there was a huge disagreement about it online yesterday. I thought about it several times because going through social media yesterday, my feed looked essentially the same. I did not notice the absence of people. I did see that I got a bunch of black boxes.
Yeah.
And I knew what they were doing and what it was for. I did wonder, like, is that how that's supposed to work? But
well, they were saying in the beginning, it wasn't where everyone else was supposed to start posting that day. It was just supposed to be the absence of people posting.
Right.
But because people posted to show their support, they didn't realize that by using the hashtags, that would then tag the black boxes, so you saw nothing else.
Right.
So for the activism side of it, they said that yesterday didn't exactly work out like they thought it would be.
Right. So it's, in a lot of ways, you almost, I mean, this is not like running in line with what they're saying, but you would almost be better off finding the people that you want to hear from, taking 5 minutes, finding like, okay, I want to find out who the people are that I want to be listening to during this time, finding them and just following them, because the hashtags yesterday were worthless. Because as we said,
it was just all black boxes.
It was all black boxes. So it's ironic that it literally did the opposite of what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to elevate some voices, and instead it silenced them.
But I don't think I don't think the average person realized that.
I don't think they did it on purpose at all.
I don't think they just knew that I don't think they even caught on that, hey, that could have been the negative side of it, where really if they ever do a blackout day again, they want people to not post. You know, if you do it beforehand leading up to it, but it's supposed to keep it less cluttered that actual day.
Yeah,
so that was what they were saying about yesterday.
Yeah, so on whatever level you participated, you probably did it wrong.
That's kind of what the article was saying. And I don't think they didn't come off it too mean, but it makes you realize, hey, if you do anything in the future, you have to know the full details about it.
You might be thinking that this won't be quite as bad the second time around. Well, you'd be greatly mistaken. You're listening to the worst of the Riot podcast.
Are they real? I don't know. But this website is kind of gathered together a bunch of stuff from Whisper, where people are talking about all the things that their parents did to save money when they were kids and how much they hated it. This list is so good.
Do you think you have some?
My mom is such a cheapskate. She gave me food poisoning 9 times from all the cheap expired food that she buys.
Oh, that's bad.
My mom showed up to my cousin's wedding in my prom dress from 1998.
Wow.
It was embarrassing because she didn't want to spend the money on a new dress, and she has plenty of money.
She just doesn't want to spend it.
That's why she has all that money.
I know, that's the reason why.
My mom
as embarrassing as it is.
My mom used to wash and reuse paper plates.
Oh, really?
I never wanted to have friends over because of it.
Aw.
I don't know. I've been...
I don't see that one. You could get worse than that. I don't see that one being the worst.
I'll say, I haven't washed a paper plate, but I've been known to, let's say, just wipe it off and continue using it.
Like if it's the same day?
Yeah, same day.
Same day, it's fine.
Same day. I mean, and I just had a sandwich on it, so there's just a few breadcrumbs here.
It's like you can have it for dinner.
It's not salad dressing or ketchup. I mean, that's got to go then, but...
It's just also just laziness. That's not just saving money.
My mom was so cheap, she'd pour the rest of the syrup from your plate back into the syrup bottle.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Hey, you know what? That's true. I can see if they're using real syrup.
Then pour that back in.
That stuff's expensive.
Have you seen the markup on it?
I mean, if you're just going with regular syrup, but syrup.
If it's the other stuff, let it go. If it's not, save it.
My dad's so cheap, I got a stolen winter hat from a store this year as a Christmas gift.
I think it was Matt who just texted that great-grandmother would wash and use foil again to reuse it. I think my grandmother did that. I think that might have been a grandmother thing.
Reusing foil?
Yeah.
I don't even use foil for anything.
Well,
I feel
we've beat that then.
It's not that my mom told me I couldn't, but I feel like I'm not allowed to use foil. I don't know why.
Where'd that come from?
I don't know, but I just feel like when I don't use that. I'm not supposed to use that.
Don't go any further. I don't want to know how deep that one goes.
Maybe it could be bad, right?
Don't want to ask. We don't want to uncover that.
Buried the memories of the foil problems.
Oh.
Let's see. My mom's so cheap, she buys me clothes from the Wish app and Believe it or not, I've never tasted a hamburger in my life.
No way.
Okay, my dad's so cheap, he gives me and my siblings a limit of $3 at fast food places, and he makes great money.
Again, that's why he has money.
Well, he makes great money. I don't really spend it on. My mom would save mayo jars and use them as cups, and save butter bowls and use them for soup and cereal. Who was it that I had a friend that would do that? Like the stuff, the butter, like he had all these like Country Crock.
You would just keep all
tubs,
the Tupperware,
and he would just keep them all.
Yeah,
and
it's just what you'd store food in. It was never what the actual outside was.
The Country Crock bowls, like that was his like cereal bowls. It almost seemed like it was a
joke at that point.
My mom is so cheap. Our entire house is filled with towels she stole from the gym.
Hey,
my dad.
Your gym gives out towels?
Yeah, some of them do.
Was that back in the day?
Like the gym I used to go to, you had to give them $1.
Oh, to hold the towel or just buy it?
Yeah, so that way, sometimes I would just be like, I'm keeping this towel. I paid you it didn't cost no $1.
I'm keeping it.
So my dad is way too frugal. He won't turn on the heat, and it's 44 degrees in the house. That sounds like someone in this room I know.
No, I did that the first time I moved out. I think my dad or mom came over and made me turn it on. Because it was so cold in my apartment, I wanted to see like how long I could go.
Yeah.
And I just remember they're like, no, we're not doing it.
It's enough.
You're just turning it on now. It was so cold.
Nikki, here's a $20 bill. Turn the heat on.
Just do that and stop eating cereal. Like,
please.
Things.
Please. I love it.
Oh, everybody's parents are different.
So I don't know what your parents did to save money, but maybe it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
And just remember, whatever you saw your parents doing to save money, they did it because of you.
Well, they were saying, and even Aaron texted in, I think the older your grandparents are, they said it's probably based out of like, what was it, the Great Depression?
Sure.
And just not having a lot of money growing up. And so they would just save and reuse everything. And then I bet that transferred to your parents. And then by us, I think it's gotten lost in the shuffle a few times. Like, we're not as frugal as maybe they were.
My friend's great-grandma, like when she died, they all went over to like help clean out the house. And she said that her grandma's garage was basically a massive pantry. She lived through the Depression, and she just had, so like, she would have shelves where she would have multiple of things.
Yeah.
So that she would have it if she needed it.
I watch Hoarders a lot, and they say that's very common.
I don't think her grandma was a hoarder, though. I think because it was like, organized and...
Yeah, no, not for her, but in the show, that's the start for a lot of people.
Sometimes I'm afraid there won't be enough, so I buy another computer.
This was the worst of the riot, and we'd like to congratulate you on having the stomach to stick around to the very end. The Riot exists because RadioU exists, and RadioU only exists because of your support. Find out more and give now at RadioU.com/donate.